Hello language learners. So today I'm going to continue to talk about vowels and how to pronounce them. So to start with, I just thought that I go back to some of the things I said last time, but I want to start this video with this thought that I actually marked down in the presentation. I actually figured out that you can do that stuff. I actually leave myself these prompts on what to talk about because it's getting complicated to remember everything. So what we have here is the thought that YouTube is an amazing place. Actually, I just wanted to start by talking about YouTube in general as a format, because it amazes me, kind of, in a good way. And I also wrote down here, RWJ, Ray William Johnson. If you know this guy, he started this whole format for me, introduced me to YouTube. And in his first videos, he used to say, hello forum. And I never thought about what that means. But the word forum really comes from Latin and is a very interesting concept. It means a marketplace, but at the same time, it was a place of exchange and exchange of thought. So that was basically a place where people would gather and they would experiment with new ideas, new ways of communication, experimented with language, and thereby changed their own lives and the lives of others. And my bass guitar just fell down. It's okay. Anyways, yeah, it was necessary because I was a bit too nervous to record this video. Good. Did it break? No, it didn't. Good. It didn't break. You see? Bass guitars. I didn't plan to start talking about bass guitars, but anyways. And YouTube is an amazing place where you can actually learn some new things. Like, I'm watching this guy who makes knives out of just weirdest things. Check it out. A knife made of chocolate. Like life is like a box of chocolates, and you never know what you'll get inside. So sometimes it's a knife made of chocolate, and it actually cuts things. Wonderful. So in the guy, it's a kind of an advertisement. Like, literally, go to this channel and find this. You'll get an amazing experience, because this guy is brilliant. How is this related to phonetics? In the same way as videos on speedruns and on hitboxes is related to phonetics. And in a similar way, like this guy, he inspired me, for example, to think about making videos in such a way that you never know what will come out of it. So for example, when he makes a knife out of a chocolate bar, he first spends like 8 minutes making a chocolate bar. This is so fascinating to watch, and it's kind of unexpected. And this is how a text is constructed in such a way. His text, I mean the video as a text, is constructed in such a way that it can always surprise you. Like, if you follow the logic of a product, then you might come up with something new and original and unexpected. And probably that is the main function of forums and YouTubes and YouTube. Wonderful thing, YouTubes. There could be different kinds of YouTube. Maybe there are. I don't know. So anyways, and this guy makes like a knife out of candies. and again, he first makes candy, and then he makes a knife out of a candy, like a real workable knife. Wow. So, and not just this stuff, but then I came across this wonderful video on how and why people write texts. This is, basically why I kind of started talking about this, about the guy with knives. So this guy here, Larry McEnany, it's, I don't know, this guy comes from Chicago, and this, like, he actually opened my eyes to a very interesting dichotomy, that means division into two, like into this division in functions of text writing. So he says that basically one function of a text is when you write to understand about something about the world. So you think about the world around you and inside you, and then you write. And writing is a kind of a tool to discover some new shades of meaning by verbalizing things, by putting them out in a text, by formalizing them. We kind of learn about some new aspects of the things we're writing about. And does that sound familiar to you? Do you write for that reason? I mean, again, why do we create YouTube videos? Why do we write diaries? Why do we create lesson plans if we're teachers? So this is one function, is when you write to think, like it's a thinking tool, just like a forum, a very powerful tool for thought. But then the other kind of writing is when you write a text for someone to read. So there's a reader, and he comes and he reads this thing. And the cool thing is, that the readers, they read for different purposes. But mainly, this guy asks this question. I recommend that you watch this video. It's amazing. And he asks this question: why do people read your texts? Like, he asks that to PhDs and to professors and to university teachers, not just students. This is why I forgot to mention that earlier. So this guy is talking about the writing on the top level of writing. And he asks this wonderful question: who actually reads your work? And the answer is, mostly, if you just pause my video and think about this question, honestly and sincerely, who reads your texts? Like the posts on Twitter or VK or any other social media, that is addressed to anyone ready to read it, like your friends, colleagues, and whoever. But then very few people read big texts, like long, extended texts. Who actually reads extended texts? The people who are paid to read your texts, like your teachers. We are paid to read your texts. That's a very interesting kind of thing. And also, if you're a scientific person, then editors, the people who edit your texts, they read them because they are paid to edit your text and to read it. But again, to make a text that is interesting to read is very difficult. And then this guy dedicates the whole thing about talking. I'm actually making a very weird advertisement for this guy. But this video is worth watching because he's saying some interesting stuff. But and he focuses on that. But at first, I was fascinated by just this distinction between the two kinds of texts. And if you think about it, what is this video that I'm recording right now? What is this video? What is its function? Why am I doing it? Am I doing that for the reader? Do I do it to understand something about the world? Or could there be some other functions. Like, I mean, two functions, okay, good and bad, but, you know, light and dark. But could there be shades? Could there be different functions in between them? Like, this is why I love YouTube so much, is because people like Larry McEnany, it's difficult to pronounce this name, for me, I know why. But people like that, they actually change the viewer's or the reader's perspective on the world. So they change the perspective. It helps to shift the eyes of the soul, to change the angle from which we look at the world. And that's another function of texts, like from the perspective of the reader, right? I don't know which function exactly I'm following and fulfilling with these videos, but, you know, we'll see. Maybe it's just a little bit, you know, you guys are not paid to watch my videos, and this is why I probably don't have so many views, but we need to think about, I actually left myself another note there, and then I look at it, and that's interesting. What do I do with this? Heuristic potential. Heuristic potential of a video. What would that be? So basically, I'm going to try to get to this first function of writing, because I find that, to me, creating texts at this point is more important from the first function, when you create to understand something you're writing about better, right? So, and then we can talk about the heuristic potential of a text. Heuristic potential is like to go eureka, you know, when you realize something, when you understand something. And this is what texts are good for. And especially creolized texts. What is a creolized text? A creolized text is when you combine verbal signs with other visual kinds of signs, like photographs, music, and videos, and all the other different kinds of text, different modalities. And that is important. And there's another important word. It's the word insight. It's important to get some insights from creating a text. And I like the word insight because it actually it can tell you what it's supposed to mean originally in sight. Why do I keep this Mario box here? Why do I keep the hitbox reference in the corner of my video? Because I sort of assume that this box and this box together might lead to some new thought. By combining thoughts, you get new, fresh thought. You get new, fresh thoughts. So, to have insights into something that you're researching, you basically need to have all the elements in sight, inside the field of your vision, actually to look at it. And then, this is why creating a text is a very useful tool. What am I talking about? I'm talking about this kind of text. So when you're trying to look for new sounds, and you keep all the elements necessary for coming up with a new thought in sight, you might just as well get an insight. Okay? And now, getting back to some thoughts on how to make these sounds and record the impressions of them. Right? So here we go. This is the IPA chart that we started to fill in or fill out. Depends on where you come from. And the techniques that I suggested last time, like yawning, a lot of people underestimate this one. Again, like it's been, 17 minutes? Such a boring video. I mean, use it, utilize this. Just yawn as much as you want, but don't forget, put the hand here, and then feel that the larynx is going down. I've been asked by one person, like, larynx, is that a plural or is it a singular? Yes, it's actually a singular. Larynx is, because it's spelled with an X. Right? Okay, like box. Larynx. So yawning, and then feel that the larynx is going down, it's moving down, and the tongue is moving along with it. And then you can go ha, ah, and then you just stretch the lips a bit, and then don't stretch the lips, and you go ah, and the tongue is in exactly the same position. Focus on the same position. And then, as I had told you before, you make the lips very rounded and very tight, and you go, oh. You see that my jaw is exactly on the same level, but the lips, they are creating this tension. So the jaw goes down, and the lips are kind of trying to stick together, and they're kind of moving the sound up. And in this tension, you get exactly the sound that you're looking for, right? This is the O sound. I would say something like this. O, right? Not too difficult. Again, I told you that you could use a spoon, and I promised an amusing story about spoons, but yeah, I can say right now, can tell it right now real quick. In one of the books on language teaching methodology, I found a picture of these weird ritual instruments. Like, I don't know what that was, but I didn't know what that was at that time, but then like something like a some weird ritual Egyptian instruments, but and there was a whole set, not just one. And then I read what that was, and people explained that there used to be these instruments that you would, to practice phonetics, people would just put these spoons, different spoons, into their mouths, and the spoon would actually shape your tongue in such a way that it assumes the position for this or that vowel. So you put this into the mouth, and then you go, oh, and then and then you get the sound like, like and the spoon actually makes your tongue kind of shaped like the sound But then what would be the problem with such an approach? This is a kind of a passive thing that it does the work for you. It's easier. You can hear the effect, the acoustic effect, and you can hear your own voice pronounce this or that sound. But when you remove this, and you don't really use them in fast speech, you don't go, just juggle with different spoons. That would be so helpful. But there is no such a thing. Or imagine like a liquid Terminator kind of liquid metal kind of a spoon that would change its form and then just control your tongue. You just put it in and it does all the work for you, and you just go, and then and you go, hello. That would be so nice. But the spoon thing is only just a second trick to help you. It's not, you'll still have to learn to lower the tongue actively and learn to do it yourselves. Otherwise, the spoon is just a spoon, okay? Then the third piece of advice was rolling the lower lip. Ah, that's a good one, but only if you learn to lower the tongue actively. Then protruding the lower jaw, again, ah. Otherwise you go, ah. You remember this one? And the bonus, practice like on your back. Practice on your back. Tried this morning. This is why it's just a bonus. I don't know if it works. You have to actually roll the head back, and then it works. But then if you just lie on your back, it doesn't really work. But I don't know. There are other thoughts that I had about these, about helping with these sounds, because they are very difficult to pronounce. Again, this is like a taboo area in the like the gray area in the Russian mouth. No, nobody goes here. Okay, but we have to because it's English, right? So I actually thought that maybe we should draw a similar thing for these sounds as well. That would be a good idea. So as you can see here, we have this focus of the tip of the tongue, which is very close to the front teeth, like pushing the front teeth forward very actively. The tongue is in the front, right? But then if you want to make these ones, what you would do is you would want to have this, sort of. You want to have the tongue moved to the back. And there's one thing that could help you with this. So, look, I will show you on a separate picture. So the tongue moves to the back, but then the tip of the tongue, you can actually put it as low as possible and kind of slide with the tip of the tongue. You slide back. Like you don't just put it down here, but you kind of slide it down and back to assure that the back of the tongue moves along with it. So there's actually also kind of a wall, the floor of the mouth. I would call it like that. I don't know if it has a name. So you actually need to go on the floor with the tip of the tongue and slide down and back. And then the back of the tongue will have to to go back. It would be forced to move back. Right? And this is a thing that I also recommend you try. But then again, remember this kind of drawing. What is the mistake of my drawing? I guess the mistake is that here, the jaw, you catch my drift. It would probably be a good idea to move it forward to give some space for the tongue to be here in the back. Okay? So this is why I tell you that it's kind of essential to move the jaw forward. So here I don't have the lips. I don't have the lips on this drawing. So this drawing could be both this or... no, it wouldn't be this. It would be this. Have a phonetic keyboard. You can download it. It's free and easy. So I have a prompt here. Move the jaw. And I already have. You see, I'm just following the route that I had planned for myself to deceive my brain and make it look like an improvisation and provide me with surprises. Now I'm kind of afraid of surprises, and this is why the only original phrasing of this thought is the idea with the floor of the mouth, where you just slide along this thing, and I would actually even draw this like that. So you kind of do this, and that's a weird animation, and I will remove this from the video. So this is what I would recommend that you do. Even if you start from the ah, you go and you relax the lips. So here the lips are stretched. Here, try to not stretch the lips. Try to here just relax the lips. Like if you have, so here you have something like this. And here you just have something like this. Don't stretch at all. Okay? Wow, this is another thing that could be considered to be a new discovery. Wait, okay. Yeah, just drawing the lips. You know, it's a good idea. Tip of the tongue, down and back. Okay? This is the point. And now, this would be the thing that I had prepared before I started making this presentation. So basically this would be the sound ah, this would be the sound ah, and here obviously no lips, and there's no difference between ah and ah. I cannot really emphasize the difference between these because you can see how close they are, and try not to think about them as separate sounds, as two different sounds completely. They're very close relatives. The tiniest difference is that this one is historically long and this is historically short. But then if you want to have the nuances and the distinctions between these, it's important to draw the lips. Here the lips would look something, okay, I'm going to try this. Something like this. I don't know, maybe if it looks weird. And then here you would have something that looks like this. Okay? Kind of right? So I'm not going to imitate a surprise because I've been thinking about this video for 3 days, and of course the next page is a pre-made drawing. It's a bit different, but look, the point is that here I indicate the forces that act upon the sound, changing it and transforming it, and you need to become aware of these forces. The first force is the force that is moving the tongue to the back. That's the first force, and this force, this is a new thing. This force is this. Is the force that drives the tip of the tongue back along the floor of the mouth, right? So this would be the force that would move the tongue back. And here you would have a force that would be kind of fighting this force, right? It's the force of the stretching lips. The stretching lips, as you remember, they make the tongue go a little bit forward. You see? So you start with a kind of a this thing when you totally relax, and then relax the lips and only apply this force, and then you apply the other one and make it go a little bit forward, and you get the ah sound. So this root is wrong. I love it. So basically, and then you would have this ha, and then you'd have ah, and then you would have ah, right? And then you would probably have to do the ah sound again, and from there you can go to o. So it's okay to change routes. It's okay to experiment. This is the point. This kind of text is not about do as I say. It's about do as I do and try, experiment with it. It would be so much more useful if my students who want to learn about phonetics and pronunciation just open the same program, OpenBoard. It's free, and then you could just, I don't know, I could even give you this presentation, no problem. It's a big presentation. There are all the discoveries that I've made during these several weeks of being on a sick leave. So you can just experiment and create your own videos, and then we could have meaningful conversations from within the text. So, I mean, a text creates space for communication. And then an effective communication could be between texts. So this kind of communication would be meaningful, because otherwise, how would we communicate if we speak different languages? We kind of get similar ideas, most of us, but then the difference is in the language. So trying to translate between one product, one text, to the language of the other text, this is kind of difficult. But this is communication, and this is what forums are for. I've become kind of, I don't know, like Lenin. Oh, damn. This whole thing is, yeah, it's kind of, this is what I wanted to tell you in the first place. You know, working on the language and on the form of expression is interesting, because then you can discover some new shades of meaning. You know, that's, I don't know, maybe that's my approach, but I'm not sure. This is, you know, it's also, it can be discussed, but some philosophers and linguists even say that our consciousness is a text. Think about this. You might find arguments for this in many works on philosophy, especially Mamadashvili, a Georgian Soviet philosopher, and Pitigorsky. These two guys, they wrote a book in which they kind of discussed this idea that consciousness is a text. No, they didn't say. They didn't say it's a text. They said it's a symbol. But all right, let's not go into that. Okay, what was that all about? 35 minutes to go, right? So, as you can see, there's something missing in this text, creolized text, and it's the lips for the sound ah. Again, I would say that you have to stretch the lips as much as possible. Ah, and then let's look at what I had previously painted, and of course it looks better because it was previously made. So the point is that you should stretch the lips kind of upward, okay? It's like if you saw this, it's like, how did I get these scars? You know, I thought I would listen to this video from Joker from Batman. But how did I get the scars? I was trying to pronounce the sound ah. Yeah, right. Killed it. Killed the joke. Okay, doesn't matter. So the idea is that you should stretch the lips very much like that. Don't overdo it, of course, but this is just to make it more visual. right? So, and here I also experimented with the drawing. Look, the tongue is the same for this sound and for this sound. This is why we need to go from ah to o, because the tongue is kind of similar. But there is another force that is supposed to be pushing the tongue up a little bit. And so the lips that are very, very tight. Look, I'm such a good painter. I mean, the people who can paint and people who can draw would probably do this in a much better way than I'm doing it right now. So, but the two forces, you can see what I'm talking about here. Like, ah, but then when you make the lips go very tight, and then it's oh, and then you get the sound like oh, such a sound as in sport, ball, hall, or this sound, right? And this is how they are related. Yeah, and it's all very schematic and sketchy. And I actually, yeah, no, that's stupid. I was trying to draw the lips as they are, and that's a little strange. The lips are what? Oh, right. And of course, the lips are the reason for this delay with the video. Of course. So this is the year 2020, right? And this is what how I tried to solve the similar problem in the year 2015. I call this the skull chart. And here I actually had to include two separate pictures. One for the tongue, as you can see, and one for the lips. So you can, actually that worked in the year 2015. It worked for me, and I kind of discovered these sounds like that. But I guess this is much more sexy. With the lips and all that, just much better. Or no lips, no. Actually, that would be more. That would be less awkward. So, right, here's, actually I have two last slides for this video, and I had this class today with a person who wants to learn phonetics and pronunciation, and I appreciate very much classes like that when people honestly tell me, I don't understand what the hell you are talking about. So this is why, thank you, one person. So the idea is that, no names, anonymous, but thank you. And the idea is that today I kind of realized that when I'm talking about the connection between the ah and o, this is actually more about creating videos like the guy who makes knives out of chocolate. So here you are trying to confuse your brain and lose the association with the Russian sound. This is what I was trying to this is why I had the guy with the knives in the first place, because in videos like his videos, the author is making you kind of lose track of what is happening. So he does a lot of weird things, and then you lose track of what is happening, and then you actually free yourself from the usual connections, logical connections, right? And interrelationships between objects And that kind of provides you with the opportunity to discover something new. And this is what it's all about, discovering new sounds, because the old sounds are holding you in the Russian language, kind of, and then you can see where I'm going with that. But then to learn something new, you should actually lose the track of the associations, become confused, like in Monty Python, confuse a cat. Okay, a reference for 2.5 people. Sorry. But then the thing is that this route still works for most people, but it is crucial to realize that actually you can go without this connection altogether. You don't have to follow this whole thing. You can go from the Russian or. Just go Russian or. Just read this letter. How do you read this letter? Or. And you see that the Russian or, I would record this with this symbol. So it's basically similar to the English or, like you might even not hear the difference. That's the cool thing. But this symbol here means that it's centralized. So it's moved a little in this direction. So the tongue actually moves a little bit here for the Russian one. So Russian tongue is, I would say it's here. So this is the Russian one, right? This is the Russian one. This is the English one. This is the difference between the English or and the Russian or. That's the difference. So and this is why I actually marked this with this cross. The cross means centralized, moved to the center of the mouth, closer to the center. And then, but when you pronounce the Russian or, once again go grom, grom, dom, any sound that has the or in it. And if you look at my lips right now, you will see that when I pronounce or separately, I relax them towards the end. I go or. Do you see? And this is actually something that is a Russian thing. It's the Russian sounds. They have this thing. At first they're tense and then they are relaxed. They relax kind of towards the end, and then they become, at first they are this and then they are this, or, and then you don't have enough energy and then you relax and go That's the Russian way. But the English way is kind of another. It's kind of different. You don't really have a lot of energy at the beginning, but then in the end and the whole way of the pronouncing of the sound, this O stays exactly the way it is. So this is why for the English one, I write this. You go O, and then you stay in the position forever and just sit there till the end of time. Okay? So once again, try to not just relax the lips, but then O, and then you relax the lips. So go, right? And then you relax the lips. And then this thing is over. Okay? So this is weird, but here I'm actually recording the entire route of your movements, the whole thing. So this means the position, and this means voiceless. So this is the position. You're just left with the. This is what I wrote here. So, and this is the sound. Oh, okay. Once again, let's go. Russian. Or, right? And then you can go, just try doing this. Or, and then relax the lips. You can go in this direction. Just practice holding the position. And also, with this, you can do this thing. Okay, check it out. I know that the video is taking long, but this is essential. Finally, I got down to what I wanted to tell you. So, if you want the English or sound. You start again with the Russian or, and you can do this or, and then just hold this position, right? And then relax. Try to hold this position. So one difficulty at a time. Once again, or, right? And now let's change the Russian or quality a little bit. You need to open the jaw more. Like this is Russian or, and then to make it into an English one, you open the, so you make this the long face. Why the long face? The horse walks into a bar. The horse walks into a bar, and the barman goes, "Why the long face?" Doesn't matter. I don't know this joke. It's just you finish it, whatever. Like BoJack Horseman. Whatever. Random references. I'm tired. This is Friday. Okay, you do whatever you want with this, but check out the thought. It's kind of essential. So you go Russian or, and then, but then you open the mouth more, or, and then make the lips much tighter than for the Russian or, so the lips are tighter. And then you go or, and then you can make the same thing and just stay with the position, and let's go or, and that will be the sound, or the English one, not the Russian one. And you can even avoid all these exercises, and you can go from this position and try to, and your tongue will be already kind of here, and you can just try to relax the lips and see what happens. So you can go the other way. So you can go from or, you can go from or. This is what I'm talking about. Did you understand what just happened? I kind of figured out a new thing for myself, and that's not a rehearsed thing. I kind of, okay, that's a new thought right there. From verbalizing the thought, you get a new shade of thought. Right, doesn't matter. I'll probably still have like 5 views. At this point, it doesn't matter. This is for my students, again, to, and for anyone watching, to realize that being a teacher is similar to being a student. It's all about doubt. You should doubt. And it's radical doubt too. So you doubt everything. Don't even listen to what I'm telling you. Double check, triple check, draw, create a text. Think. This is important. Especially about phonetics, because this is something that comes naturally to us, and everything that's natural is most likely, most likely to be a myth, most likely to be something that you don't fully understand, and it's something that could be wrong. Okay? Could be, or could be right, doesn't matter. Or something that you think to be English could be Russian, and something you think to be Russian could be English. Right. Anyway. So the last slide. This guy. I mean, I will put the reference somewhere here, and this guy is amazing. He's pretty brilliant. This guy is an accent coach, and there's this channel, Wired, I guess that's pronounced. And why I included this is the diphthong O, And usually, like, this is why this is now going to be the answer to the question in the title of the video. How do you draw a sound? And I haven't answered this question fully, but then I think that the answer might be you just start to draw the sound, and then you see where your drawing takes you. So this person, this guy, started to draw the sounds for different dialects, and this is where this has taken him, towards realizing that, look, if you pronounce this sound separately, and this sound, and you pronounce them as it's written, you go, oh, 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 oh. So this is, oh, oh. So that's crap. You see that when I say no, I don't say no, no, no. Nobody talks like that. So they are different. This one is the sound that I tried to explain from this one, to the sound weirdly enough, right? Can you go and then go and this is how I try to explain from this sound. So basically, according to my previous explanation, this would be the thing. You go and you go so this is where it would start. So like that would be something like this, really. This would be a different sound. But anyways, this is how I explained it last time, and a lot of people had problems understanding this explanation. But this guy, when I saw this video, I was blown away because he just drew this sound a little bit lower, and I thought, what else is here? This is the place for the sound or. This is where the or is pronounced. Again, try saying Russian or and go or, like just the Russian or, and try to make it slower. Go or, and just relax the lips. And you will kind of get, if you keep the jaw on the same level, you'll kind of get the sound like in money, some, tongue, or, Do you see? You don't go from you can go from or, I mean, that was a kind of an interesting discovery. This is why it's important to have a forum. It's important to have communication. And it's not necessarily between a teacher and a student. It's between just people who are looking for sounds and experimenting. That's, again, Lenin на броневике. I don't know. So, this video is turned out to be very chaotic. But, like, if you think about what I was trying to tell you, you might see that it's not about mindlessly copying something. It's about trying the same method. It's about method. It's not about, like, knowledge. It's because the knowledge of phonetics is a thing that you will have to meet at some point. I go half the way and you go the other half. So if we want this to happen, there has to be communication going on, and yeah, it's like, circular construction. There's this guy on YouTube that I admire and who actually inspired me to do all this. in the first place, it's the person who's called Nerdwriter, Nerdwriter1, okay? And he makes creolized texts. That was a thought, just analyzing this guy from the standpoint of semiology and from semiotics, depends on which school you belong to, and just that could be amazing dissertations, course papers, diplomas for linguistic students. That would be so nice, so interesting. And I usually encourage my students to do that. Rarely works, but you know, I'll still be trying. So, but this guy, he makes creolized texts. And the thing is, I was fascinated. Maybe it's my syndrome поиска скрытого смысла or something. But like when I saw his name, Nerdwriter1, I thought, wow, that's a challenge. Like you say Nerdwriter1, maybe you're suggesting that there should be a Nerdwriter2, Nerdwriter3. Let's have a conversation. Let's try to talk in this language of video essays. And but then I kind of realized that perhaps just the name Nerdwriter was already taken, had been already taken, and then the guy just added one. So it's just a trivial fact. But again, what I'm talking about is that as long as people are looking and asking questions, they will be getting answers. So hope this was helpful in a way. And okay, this video, you shouldn't probably even be recording anything for this video. In the next video, I'm going to do diphthongs, and it will be much faster, and we will have much less as Russian people say, water. it will have much less water than this one, the next video. Right, I will see you around. Bye, see you.